going to close the doors. You can cut the music. I don't need a mic. Anyway, we got one more person, two more coming up here in a minute. And you all look so beautiful. Thank you. I'm waiting for Joanne. Where she is?
She's in the kitchen, I think. She's here. She's working somewhere.
Okay. Joanne.
I think she's in the kitchen. Joanne?
I get to go first.
Joanne's not in here. Where did she go?
My name is
Joanne,
Linda
where'd she go?
Iles.
She go
And
out?
probably, I know most everybody here, I believe, we've met at one time or another. I have felt so fortunate over the years that I've had some very distinguished and accomplished priestesses that for some reason all took a liking to me and supported me very much in my work and showed faith in me. One was Laura, one was Olivia Robertson, Lorian Vivier, and Caroline Weiss of London. My life would have been very different, I think, right now without their support and their care. I currently am holding the torch for the Fellowship of Isis with a number of other people. We have revived the FOI Union Triad. We have the Archpriesthood Union, the Grand Commander Union, and the Archdruid Union. These were all originally founded by Olivia, and they had to stay focused and reconvene after she passed away. We didn't do too much while she was still alive because it was Olivia. She was running the show. But after she died, we got together, and we have been a sounding board for needs and wants of members. And we have looked through her records, and we have carried forth her work the best to our ability. This is 2016. 2015, we launched the Order of the Shining Helmet of Athena, which was a project near and dear to Olivia's heart. And her last book was called Athena Arcadian Awakening. And she left some written instructions about what she wanted. And later today, I'll be talking to you about another phase of work that's coming in that Olivia had wanted. I'll save that for my presentation. But the FOI is well, and it's strong. And the Temple of Isis is well, and it's strong. When Lorian Vivier passed away that same night, the Tracy Regula flew up from San Diego to take over the reins up there. She was designated in the trust that Lorian left behind. I have to say the transition was seamless. But with all of this, I must say that, I feel like we're coming out of the end of the tunnel. It has been a time of grieving. We lost Nina Boot in Chicago in January of 2013. Not a long time later, it was late May, the last passed. And then Olivia passed in November of 2013. Just before Olivia passed, I learned that my own mother had cancer. She passed away March 2014, and then Lorian passed away in the summer of 2014. All my matriarchs were gone. I never envisioned anything like this happening. And so it has been a time of soul searching. It hasn't been easy, but I've just gone back to their work and their words time and time again. Isis, is this what you want us to do? I've called on the goddess, and she always directs me. I will find passages in their work, especially Olivia's. Just open up a book and there it is. Or go through her old announcements and find something. It's just been incredible. So it's been kind of a wild journey in some ways, but I'm so grateful to be here. And I'm really grateful to see all of you here today. And I know that Olivia and Laura and Dina and Lorian, they're all here with us in spirit. And I thank you for being here. Blessings of Isis, Dua Aset.
rich, rich tapestry of Fellowship of Isis gathered here today to celebrate. And what better way to welcome the spring equinox? This is perfect. It's a perfect celebration. And spring is like one of my favorite times of the year, when things are fresh and new and we start thinking about possibilities and wonderment again, and remembering that we have so many great things that we want to do, and no reason that we should keep things on pause. And not only can we do a lot of work individually to help heal ourselves and heal the planet, but we can do things as a group. We come from a great lineage of very, very powerful matriarchs and patriarchs. And we come from the goddess. And all we have to do is look to that resource. As Linda was sharing, she goes back to the words of the people who lead the way, who have shown the way, who know this wisdom, who have turned to the goddess and studied and gotten that guidance, and she gets that guidance herself, and she goes to the goddess, and we have to remember to do those things too. And I'm so glad that we've gathered together today to remember, to honor, to celebrate, to share with each other, to connect together, and make some memories for ourselves. And meet some new people, and see how close we are to each other geographically, and take the opportunity to learn some new names and spend a little time together and just reach out and make things a little closer so we can do more work and make greater things happen and really see some change. And important, it's very important to realize, make some change in yourself. Just that daily meditation, that time with that person you see in the mirror. It matters. It matters that you care about yourself. It's time, as the wheel is turning, to turn that attitude and say, I am really going to take the opportunity to nurture myself so I can nurture the mother, so I can be strong and help to nurture this world. So thank you very much for spending the time, using your energy and your resources to come here to be with us and get all of the things together that you want to share with us. We're very excited to learn from what you have to share. Many blessings to you. It's going to be very exciting.
Blessings, Goddess bless, Isis blessings, and thank all of you for coming and supporting us. The legacy goes on. We have a rich array and a rich group of Iseums and Lyceums on the West Coast. And one thing about it that we need to do is have this, even not just once a year, but get together and share things with each other, share our work. You know, we do fabulous work. So we wanted to at least have our Iseums and our Lyceums in the United States, the West Coast, to attune with the others in England and London and in Italy and Australia. I mean, we're all over. So now we want to put ourselves, the West Coast persuasion, on the map. And thank you all for supporting us. You know, this is not going to be the only time. It's going to be other times. So bless it. Indeed. Thank you.
This is a hymn to Isis. It's written by Normandy Ellis. Open heaven's gate. Draw back the bolts. I have come to sing for Isis. I have come to praise your name, O flame. I have come to adore the great speaker of spells. How beautiful her face, happy, renewed, refreshed, as the day when her mother first fashioned her. All praise to the Queen of heaven and earth. All hail the goddess Isis. Blessed be.
Please stand if you are able. If you're able to stand, stand. Please.
We call upon the powers and the spirits of the East. We call you to our gathering. We call you to share as we celebrate this 40th anniversary. We call you winged creatures. We call you come. We call you air, great creatures of the air. Come, clear our minds. Winds, breezes, blow away the confusion. Take away the stresses of the day. Let us leave behind the hurried freeways. Leave behind all those heavy burdens. We know they will be there when we return from our time together of celebration and joy. But for now, give us clear minds, open hearts, a sacred space that we can share, celebrate, embrace this space, embrace each other. Know the joy, the clarity. Let us welcome you, welcome spring. Embrace the goddess. Embrace the joy of this day, the welcoming of the season, the love, the truth, the beauty that is the goddess, the joy that she would have for us. Come to our circle. Blessed be.
Blessed be. Thanks for that.
All hail and welcome, principalities, powers, goddesses of the southern quarter, sun coming back into the sky, coming back into the warm time, helping the earth regenerate. Please use your heat, use your beautiful energy to remove from this world and from our own personal journey anything that is not pleasing and fitting for ourselves and for in the eyes of the goddess, harming none. Please heal the oceans. Please help the growth of plankton to be normal. Please help the plants to thrive. We ask this. Oh, please join us in this circle. So mote it be.
I call on the waters of the world, oceans, streams, brooks. I call on the oceans of compassion and waters, the wombs of the world. Please join this sacred space, our sacred circle, as we honor our loved ones. Please be with us. Be with us with the calming and the cooling compassion that the waters can bring. Please be with us that have the strength and the fortitude to need the waters and the moisture and the precipitation. Blessings, womb mothers. Blessing, fathers, ocean mothers, ocean queens, gods of the deep. Be here with us now. Blessed be.
We call upon the powers of the north. We call upon the earth which sings because it's alive again. It has slept through the winter and now it wakes, and Mother Earth is alive again and sings in the spring. Our bodies are earth. Our bodies feel the singing. We dance, we arise, we sing. Oh, come, powers of the north, join us. Join us, be here with us now in our circle. Sing with us, blessed be.
Linda and Jeffrey.
My name is Jeffrey Isles, and I'm married to the Reverend Linda Isles from the Lyceum Lotus of Alexandria in San Diego. And my spiritual path is a little different than most of yours, probably. I'm pretty secular, actually. And I had the pleasure of meeting Lady Olivia back in 2001, and we had a pretty neat discussion about my beliefs, or perhaps lack thereof. She was quite a woman, and it was a really neat meeting. It was in Phoenix at a small event, so I got to see her conduct a guided meditation and have just a really nice discussion with her. And Linda's involvement with Olivia has done so much for my life, for her spiritual journey, and that's one of the gifts that Olivia has given to me, was giving Linda a spiritual home. And it's been a long time since that meeting, and I did not get the pleasure to meet her again before Olivia's passing. But it was a very special night, and I'm so grateful that I got to meet her. She's so important to Linda. I knew Lauren Jay's daughter, and Linda and I would come up to, we'd meet in the middle kind of. We'd come up for lunches in San Juan Capistrano and meet Laura there. Meet Laura there. And I'll never forget her giving me a hug and a smooch, and I'll just never forget her warm hugs. And she was so full of life and passion and intellect. And she was very special to both of us. And it's those are very special times. She came down to our house in San Diego a few times, and we are very blessed to have a view of the Pacific Ocean from our backyard. And I have fond memories of Laura spending time with us out there, looking at the ocean and talking about life and everything else. Lorian Vignier at Isis Oasis up in Geyserville. I was probably one of the first people to actually find out that she had passed on. She died on July 15th of 2014, and I just happened to look at my watch about 10 minutes before midnight. The phone rang, and I'm a night owl, so I was up, Linda was asleep, and it was to Tracy Regula. And she said that she needed to talk to Linda very urgently, and I could tell from the from the tone in her voice that something very urgent had happened. And I had a sneaking suspicion what had happened, so I got Linda on the phone. And it was real interesting to find out about that just a few minutes before midnight on the very day that she passed. And there were people that live and work at Isis Oasis that hadn't even found out yet. They were sleeping. And that's a big, profound change in our lives, because as Linda already said, the very next day, less than 24 hours later, less than 24 hours after that conversation, Tracy was on a plane, got right up to Geyserville, and took over at Isis Oasis. And she's pretty much been there ever since. And Lorian knew how I believed as well. And she used to kid me about it. And the last time I saw Lorian was December of 2013 at the solstice celebration at Isis Oasis. And one of the reasons I went up there with Linda for that particular celebration was because Olivia had just passed like 5 weeks before. And we were going to make that celebration a memorial for Olivia as well. So I just had to go up there. I just had to be with the gang up there and partake in that. And I remember Lorion saying to me, well, I'm going to convert you yet. You're already one of us. Well, here's the progress report. I haven't exactly been converted, but I am one of you. The Fellowship of Isis, I have found, is so open and accepting that someone that is from a completely different spiritual space is completely accepted with your open arms and your love. And I'm just so struck by the care that all of you have for the planet and the environment. In this high-tech society, it's just a constant struggle to try to be gentle and green, and you people really believe in that. And so all my friends here and up in Geyserville and everywhere else that are involved in the Fellowship of Isis, it's just such a warm feeling to meet people that I barely know and get a hug. And another thing that the Fellowship has done for me is, at the last 2 convocations in Geyserville, I've been asked to perform in the plays up there. And I was sort of a dormant actor. I haven't been doing performing arts in about 25 years. Until Tracy said at the 2014 convocation, can you get on stage? And I need someone to be in the play for 5 minutes. Next thing you know, for the first time in a quarter century, I'm in costume in a play in character. And what a rush that was to get back into it. And then Zarita Zook, at the last convocation, just this past October, gave me the lead role in the play up there. And she also had me, of all people, take part in the adoration that she wrote, the adoration for the goddess Hathor and the god Horus. And it was an amazing experience for me as an actor and in my own spiritual space. And it's sparked what is a whole new rebirth in my life as a performance artist. I've had a lot of opportunities come my way since then. And that's what the Fellowship of Isis has done for me, is it's given a spiritual space for my life and given me a whole lot of new friends and a new rebirth in what is truly my calling. And so I just want to say thank all of you for welcoming me, and I just want to say how fondly I remember Lorion and Laura and Lady Olivia.
Well, I'm here to announce the inauguration of the Order of Signs, Sigils, and Seals. This was something that Olivia had wanted and was working on before she passed away. And we've just announced and inaugurated Part 1, Egypt, the Mysteries of Isis and Osiris. I wanted to read to you this poem that Olivia sent me in January of 2013 while she was working on this. The winged Isis restores Osiris to life. We also are reborn through the divine wife. Each of us should cherish the other, for we are all born of the divine mother. So it is, and so are we all. Olivia had sent out an announcement in late 2012. It was in November. It said, I am creating a new rite for the hidden keys for the mystery of Osiris. Know that this key is within you, as you are the key, and you should never give your power or key to another. This is your birthright and your key to the mysteries for you and for your journey to other dimensions and realms. I send blessings to you all, and I ask that you listen for the goddess. What we found when we were putting this together based on Olivia's instructions was that Olivia had, over the years, written 4 rituals that specifically addressed the mysteries of Isis and Osiris, and based on her work in the Star of Ishtar and the Tiamat diagram, which some of you may not be familiar with, the stages were described in these 4 rituals, and they corresponded to the 4 levels of the Star of Ishtar. So what I would like to do now in honor of the inauguration is I am going to read to you a guided journey. This is a transcription I made of a guided journey Olivia gave at Isis Oasis in 2006. And I'd like you to close your eyes and think of Olivia, because I know a number of you probably experienced her guided journeys. And the name of this is On the Wings of Ma'at. And this was given on Friday evening, October 6th, 2006, the full moon in Aries at the FOI convocation. So here we go. I want to take you on a magical journey on the wings of Ma'at. We are undergoing the rite of passage of balance, a vertical balance and a horizontal balance. We are going to enter into a place of depths of the heart within the womb of the mothers. And as we follow the ancient Egyptian path, we approach 2 dark obelisks with golden tips, flanking an alabaster portal in the side of a mountain. Anubis stands there, all black, with his great upright ears, and he's robed in gold. Tehute, robed in black, stands on the other side. They are the 2 guardians of the portal. Each stands silently, gazing into the heart of a mystery and not sharing what he sees. But silently, they look at us and they beckon us to pass. Within, we expect to see only darkness, but no, we find ourselves within the temple of the gods and goddesses of earth. It is dark, but we find ourselves in a mighty hall of hewn stone, with pillars reaching upwards into darkness above us. Along the sides of a great passageway, we travel forth, looking at the hewn stone for signs and symbols. There are none there, yet we do find that we are descending deeper, deeper into the dark womb of the earth, within the realm of Geb. And we hear chanting. It says, we honor truth, we honor virtue, we honor heaven, we honor the earth. And it is here, within these dark halls of earthly initiation, that we first learn to honor truth. We first learn to love, to uphold virtue. We learn to honor all of life in its many forms. And it is here that we must face the goddess of mysterious depths. Now, the dark gateway becomes luminous, as though veiled in a shimmering dimness like a mist. The misty veil draws aside, and we see a mighty cavern wherein stands the goddess Nephthys. Her face is dark, and she is veiled. She at first seems death-like, skeletal even, but as we contemplate her, the lines of her body become softened with beauty, and we glimpse great and dark mysteries within the folds of her veil. And she beckons us to enter the blackness of the cavern. We hear chanting as we approach the darkness, which seems like a void. It is the black hole
an inner gateway within ourselves. We hear voices chanting, "My heart is pure." And we see a great black river of potent healing water. It flows in this realm of Nephthys, giving healing, healing of the heart, of the spirit, for all those who are wounded and tired. For this is the realm of the heart. And she draws aside the veil from her face, and we stare into her great dark eyes. And we see Nephthys transformed into the vulture goddess Nekhbet. She is the protectress of the temple, the protectress of life. She is the harbinger of hope even in times of famine and despair. And the mother of death and life gives us a gift for a journey. She gives us a vision of understanding, for this is the place where light meets darkness, where day meets night, where life meets death. It is the place where insight brings wisdom to the mind and spirit, where hearts meet each other in empathy. It is where we look upon the face of anyone who hates or dislikes us, anyone who has ever wronged us. We may also see dislike within ourselves for others, for we have all hurt and we have all been hurt. Nephthys smiles and holds up a mirror. Images swirl across its surface. The mirror of Nephthys shows us what these others hate is something they find in themselves, and that we do not have to suffer. We are free from that which we ourselves dislike. We are free from that which hurts us. The goddess is here to allow us to rise above it. As we realize this, our hearts are healed, for suddenly we are free, and we feel ourselves begin to rise. The earth has grown insubstantial, and we pass through it easily. We rise upwards through the earth into the sky above, to the portal of the temple of the sun, the land of golden light, of life, love, and happiness. And we leave behind us the dark, healing cavern of Nephthys. We are in the realm of Ra and Hathor, and we rise to find the sacred temple of the solar body with 2 golden pylons on either side of the temple gateway. The height fades in the sky above, and the columns then descend downwards into the earth below. And we are told we cannot rise to the heights without first experiencing the depths. We are told this as the goddess Mot of truthfulness questions us. Are you truthful of spirit and honest of heart? Are you truthful to the very depths of your being? Only then are you able to enter the hall of the goddess Ma'at. And she has a mighty auric manifestation and mighty feathered wings. The 2 pillars stand balanced on either side of her. Are you balanced in your judgment when you feel passion? Wisdom is the balance you need in your life. Come to the goddess. Be truthful. Tell her. Look at the face of the great goddess as she lifts her veil, and her perfect beauty is both lovely and wise. And she says, honor the other. Let us unburden ourselves of one particular injustice that troubles us, one particular thing we hate, however difficult. Suddenly, we feel like laughing, we feel like being friendly, and we are glad, for Anubis and Tehute are standing there near the balance of Ma'at, and we put aside all sorts of things we feel obligated to be in the earthly world, we set aside earthly cares. In this sudden lightening of heart, we again begin to rise. We leave behind the beautiful golden temple of the sun. Now we reach unfathomable heights in the heavens and approach Sirius, the star of Isis, which is really 2 stars. These are the stellar twins, the souls of Isis and of Osiris. They are the divine twins of alchemy. We feel star power like a fountain falling through us. Isis and Osiris are joined in one single united flow of being. Light of both goddess and god shine as one within our spirit. We ask to be given insight. Without the light of spirit, we are as though dead, and we are nothing. Isis and Osiris together pour a stream of holy light into the darkness of our being. As we face Isis and we face Osiris, we are given our own guiding light. A dream is given to us. It may be a vision of beauty. It may be a nightmare, but the ills within it are given to teach us. We accept what is given us and learn the wisdom of it. Isis and Osiris give us each a lamp, a light to guide us on our way. The light shows us that we have been given a key to heaven and to hell. Each one of us has our own key residing within us always, and we are shown it now. As we pass through the veils of starlight in the heavens, we see that heaven is just a reflection of hell, and hell is a reflection of heaven. For we have been given a symbol or key, which will give us access to the realm of light. And from the heights of star power, we now begin to draw back to earth. We now descend through the golden gateway of Ra and Hathor, god and goddess of the sun. We descend and go through the dark pylons of Geb, and we realize the balance of Ma'at, the wisdom of Nekbet, the healing of Nephthys, and the guiding light of Isis and Osiris are within us all, and that's within us all of the time. Our green world, which is the mantle of Geb, is a reflection of the blue heaven of Isis and the black cavern of Nephthys. We send out now love, truth, and harmony to all beings. Holy Isis, holy Nephthys, we give you our thanks that you are ever within us, and so be it. Thank you all.
Hello, my name is Inanna Moon. That was probably the first thing that I got from Laura, which was, what I've done is cut off the outer piece of a candle, the cover of the candle. I didn't know way back there that you could go online, find these gorgeous pictures, print them out, and put them around a candle. And now that seems to be my life, basically. So I cut that one off of the last candle that I used. So I have the universe there, which is very symbolic for me. This is Stephen Sirocco II, my husband, and we represent the Iseum of Isis Shanti Bhavan. And Shanti Bhavan means peace house, which was in Sanskrit. Which was lovingly assisted into being by Laura Jane's daughter and chartered through Lady Olivia Robertson. Since 2006, it has been a school for pagan and goddess studies, meditation classes, and ritual. It has been going through some changes lately because its leaders have been going through changes, and that's to be expected given the spin of life lately, for the last several years, as a matter of fact. Today, I celebrate the fellowship of Isis as one of my special spiritual homes. Thank you, Isis, for guiding the hands of Lawrence Durden Robertson and Lady Olivia Robertson in creating this legacy. This is where I was offered an open place to explore the goddess, certainly, and the beauty of cosmic consciousness, ultimately. I also say, because I want to celebrate this as well, 1,000 thank yous to Kat Robb, who led me here. She was my first Wicca teacher 20 years ago. And a few years after that, I hadn't seen her for a while, and I ran into her one day, and I said, I keep having these dreams about this goddess Isis, and she comes up when people are giving me messages and so forth. I think she has some kind of meaning for me, but I'm not sure what. Do you know anything about her? And after listening, she said, I think I might have a place for you. She brought me actually to a Long Beach Women's Spirit event where I met Laura Jane's daughter. And so also 1,000 thank yous to lovely Laura for being just the right feminist mystic and the right hierophant of Isis, fairy godmother for me. I learned so much about the spiritual cosmology of belief from her, so much about the mysteries of Isis and ritual, so much through the priestesses of the Temple of Isis, Los Angeles, and then so much, should I mention this, so much about weed, and the best kind, and the best nail polish colors too. Then this is about Lady Olivia. I was ordained by her in 2002 on her first visit to Los Angeles, which was a shock when Laura told me she wanted to do this. I had one of the most mystic experiences, though, ever when I gave my oracle under the veil with her hand on my shoulder. It opened a whole new concept for me, who had been studying yoga for about 15 years by then, about how the spirit world connects and helps each of us on earth. I won't go into all of that, but just this part. And I'm always a little shy to share messages I receive in my personal meditations, though I'm asked and honored to use spiritual mediumship in my work with people now. And during a meditation in 2007, I heard that the veil was thinning and would remain thin due to the change in consciousness that was coming. I heard that our spirit guides and our ascended masters and the divine sources, God and Goddess, would be closer to us to teach us and help us through the coming times. If we could listen, if we could work to let go of egos, if we could grow in new ways, this is what we would receive from Spirit. The old world would be changing. I heard that spiritual groups and organizations that we thought would stand forever, that had stood the test of time, would change drastically or fall. Basically, I got that there would be upheaval and a rise with the tide and go with the flow time that was coming. And over these last several years, maybe not surprisingly now, that's exactly what we've seen. And it's interesting to me that many of us, we all knew, we've all heard that there would be a time maybe of upheaval. I'm not talking about end times. I'm not going down that road. I'm talking about a time of change. And sure enough, now through these last several years, we have many spiritual leaders who've talked a lot, have had these visions as well. it's so prevalent to me, and even in the yoga communities, we speak of the Aquarian age coming, and maybe here it is. Maybe we're at the threshold, but there's still more to come. So it was and yet wasn't a surprise when I was reading various things about Lady Olivia for this event and found the following. And the quote starts with, "What follows was not recorded in the Iseum news. This is a transcription of an oracle through Lady Olivia Robertson during the FOI gathering at the hospitality suite at the Palmer House Hotel during the Second Parliament of World Religions, Chicago, Illinois, 1993. She said, or the goddess said, I have called you all. There is no one here by accident. I have known each one of you. You are dear to my heart. I say to you, banish all your old ideas. We of the cosmic hierarchy of the stars are now manifesting directly. All your old information of Atlantis, that which you have received from your teachers, no longer works. Your key to that is twisted, and you need a new key. You must transform yourselves through my son Horus, the child of my daughter Hathor, young. The age of the sun is passing to the age of the stars. Concentrate upon Sirius. All of you are drawn by this. We are coming to you from outer and inner space. You are all our children. A special vocation has drawn you to this spot now, so I could speak to you and tell you to have courage. You must do what you must do to usher in the new eon, and there will be disturbances on the earth. Do not be afraid. I am telling you now, they will happen. They are for the best. Earth needs cleansing. When earth changes again, have courage. It is for the best. You are not rejected by your divine mother. All of you have had dreams, have had premonitions. These are good. That which comes is marvelous. Lift up your hearts to the goddess and God. Isis and Osiris is reborn in each one of you. So I say thank you, Lady Olivia, for being a visionary, for being a vessel for so many visions of Isis. Thank you for holding space for she of 10,000 names to meet with her new generations of children. To the Fellowship of Isis on this 40th anniversary celebration, we look forward to the future with you. You are ever free to ebb and flow and grow your own way, within our hearts and our minds, ever ancient, ever evolving, and forever young. Thank you.
I'm Catherine Wright, and from the very beginning of Isis Pelagia, I was honored to be invited by Laura Janesdaughter and to be a part of Isis Pelagia. What I'm sharing today, because it's under the name of the Iseum Voxalethea, is how that came to be and how it now exists on inner planes. In 1998, Laura had wanted so much to do Isidore Forrest's ritual of knowing the heart, knowing what is in the heart. And there are many, something like 9 different goddesses represented, and there were tables, and there were drapes, and there were all this. So we were sitting around her dining room table. We hadn't gotten to all the structural part yet, but we were all reading the words that each one of us had taken. And as it came to, and in the meantime, Laura had been really urging me to become a priestess, to accept ordination as a priestess, and I had been resisting. So all of a sudden I looked down at the paper, and this is what I saw. I am Isis Aletheia, Lady of the Hall of Truth. Though I have no temple of my own, yet no temple exists without me. For I am the heart and center of every temple. Without me, the universe itself would crumble, the gods could not exist, the oneness could not be. I am that which is right. I am that which is true. I am the keeper of the divine spark. And in that moment, after finishing that, I turned to Laura and said, yes, I will be with you on June 28th for ordination, which she had already planned. So I will also share an anecdote of Olivia. Of course, with all that beginning, we saw pictures of her and her words and her drawings so many times. And finally, I think probably the second or third time that I was up to the convocation. Actually, second or third time I was up to Isis Oasis, but it was my first convocation. And being somewhat expansive, I was going around from table to table saying, hello, I'm Catherine Wright from Temple of Isis, LA. And I approached one table with about 6 or 7 women there, and they looked at me funny as I approached, but I said, hello, I'm Catherine Wright. I'm from Los Angeles and with the Temple of Isis, LA. And all of a sudden, the woman who's back to me jumped up and whirled around, and I immediately knew who it was. And it was Olivia Robertson. She grabbed my hand and said, and I am so honored to meet you and have you here. And that was my first and not last personal encounter with Olivia. And so, of course, there are many things through the years, but after the ordination, the concept of an Iseum was Vox Aletheia, the voice of truth, of the Lady of the Hall of Truth. And it did have like a semi-physical presence online for a few years, but it has gone deeper and deeper into the other, into the deeper planes, referenced by Joanne in the beginning, referenced by the journey that Linda shared with us from Olivia and from what Inanna has shared. And so that is where she is. That is where I ask that all of you may one day be. I am that which is right. I am that which is true. I am the keeper of the divine spark. Blessed be. So I'm going to hit that. I'm Cat Rob, and I keep going different, but first I have to say a thank you. I just had surgery to have a big tumor removed, and a lot of people sent energy, and I was told by 3 different doctors that I had cancer. When they took the tumor out, I found out this week when I read the operative report, 99% of that kind of tumor is cancerous. 1% is not. I'm the 1%. It's because of you people. I'm sure it's because so many people were pulling for me. So thank you. And I'll stop being a weepy bunny. I was ordained back in 1999 by Laura. Laura had a way of coming up to you and go, when are you being ordained as a priestess? Then you're like, okay, is that like, when did you stop beating your wife? Because there's no good answer. But I became a priestess, and I had no intention of ever having my own Iseum. I was quite happy going and things. And Laura designated me the official archivist, which is why I run around with the camera. She said, I never want to have a ritual where there is not a camera. Because otherwise there's no record of that we're here, that we exist. When we disappear, it's like, why were there pagans? No, a lot of times there's no pictures. So that's why you see me running around with pictures, taking pictures. But I think it was 2003, Ellen Cannon Reed died. And we had just decided that weekend we were going to have our first priestess meeting for the Temple of Isis. We were going to meet monthly. And two of us, Inanna and I, were going to go to her memorial. So somebody pulled out Ellen Cannon Reed's book. And we were fooling around looking through it, and there was a bunny, a hieroglyph for a bunny. And we started goofing around. Who is that bunny? There was no good explanation in that particular book of who this bunny was. And so one of us smarted off about, well, that's Bunny Hotep. And that just kind of went around. That was, fine. And that night I fell asleep. And I woke up with this rabbit talking to me. And she was telling me stories. And she said, you have to tell my stories. So this is the story, and this has never been published. It's not in my book. I don't think anybody's seen it in a very, very long time, but I was looking for something to read today. So I found the very first two stories, and they've never been published, and one of them's kind of naughty. But anyway, first one is The Tale of a Tale. Once upon a time, in a time long, very, very long ago, there was a very small Egyptian rabbit goddess. Her name was Bunny Hotep. She was a beautiful rabbit with soft, soft fur and a long, bushy tail. She was very vain about this tail. It was a pretty color, and it swished behind her, and it did have a slight problem. When she landed, it got dirty in the dirt. But every day she would go to groom her tail, and she asked nicely if Bast would help her brush out her tail, so it shined and shined. Bunny Hotep loved to go down to the banks of the Nile and watch the fish swim by. She could watch for hours and hours. Once upon a time she was watching the fish, and a crocodile snuck up behind her and opened his very big mouth with his very big teeth, and Bunny Hotep turned around and saw a very big, nasty crocodile, and gave a big leap away and hopped for her life. She heard the jaws go snap, and as she sped away, she hopped all the way to Isis and Hathor's house. They were sharing a summer temple that year. And as she was nearly there, she realized she was hurting, and she slowed down and she looked behind her. Her beautiful tail was gone. Excuse me. Bunny Hotep cried and cried. Oh, it hurts, she said, nursing her bunny hiney. My lovely, lovely tail, it's gone. She cried softly to herself, but she didn't cry softly enough, and kind Isis and Hathor heard her. Isis and Hathor picked her up and cradled her, and soothed her hurt bunny behind. Bunny Hotep sobbed to Isis, What will I do without my tail? It's so soft and lovely, and it cushioned me when I landed. Hathor thought carefully, and knew she had just the thing, and went quickly into the house and came back. She handed Isis an object, and said to Isis, See if this works. Isis took it and laughed, and said, This will be perfect, and she put the soft thing right where Bunny Hotep's tail used to be. Bunny Hotep looked down at her behind. There was her lovely long tail had been was now replaced by one of Hathor's powder puffs, because of course Hathor is the goddess of cosmetics. It was lovely and soft and white, and it was so much more practical than a long tail, and that is why bunnies have fluffy powder puff tails. And this is the second one. This one I got in trouble when I wrote it, but Laura said, whatever. Because I was emailing these right after I wake up. I'd write them or type them really quickly, and I'd send them off by email to Laura, and Laura's like, okay. Once upon a time, long, long ago in Egypt, there lived a small rabbit goddess. She loved Isis, and she knew Isis was very sad because a very mean god, Set, had hurt the one that Isis loved most, Osiris. Legend says that Osiris was cut up by Set and scattered in 14 pieces around the ancient world. But there were really a few extra bits and bobs left over. Bunny Hotep decided she would find all those extra pieces that were left around. She knew those pieces were very important to Isis. So Bunny Hotep went out and searched for those missing pieces. She searched the shores of the Nile. She searched the corners of the big temples. She searched the Valley of the Kings. She searched in lotus ponds and under papyri. She searched in all the low, out-of-the-way places that the other gods had missed. She found many dust bunnies, but no pieces of Osiris. But she found the last 2 special pieces in a hawk's nest. She was very brave, and she made sure Mrs. Hawk was not at home when she went to look. She was brave, but not that brave. She put the pieces in her basket and hopped back to Isis. Isis was so happy she rewarded Bunny Hotep with a big honor. She said that when Bunny Hotep was tired of being on Earth, she would place her in the full moon where everyone would see and remember her forever. And that is why there's a rabbit in the moon. Because Bunny Hotep carried the pieces back in a basket, all Easter bunnies have baskets to carry their eggs in. And I'll let you guess what those 2 pieces were. So, the Iseum of Bunny Hotep was signed into and chartered by Olivia. And I'm deeply honored that she and Laura did that for me. And I took some of the pictures of Olivia down there, being very expansive and wonderfully Olivia. So, thank you.
I'm Denise Allen. I'm Archdruidess of Hazelwood Grove. I'm also the priestess of quite a few have claimed me since my initial ordination, but of Briad, of the Green Grandmother, of Nephthys, of the Lady of Mystery. Hazelwood Grove came about, it must have been 2006 or 7, I think. I don't remember exactly when that was, but I know that Mary and I were still living here. Mary, my wife, who passed away in October, she was also an Archdruidess of the Grove. Mary deeply connected with the Druidic path, as Kat and I also did. And Mary went to Laura and said, Laura, I want to be part of the Druid clan of Dana. I need to. And so Laura got a hold of Carolyn Weiss in London and flew to England and became an Archdruidess so that she could come back. And the 4 of us, Kat and Mary and I and Laura, founded Hazelwood Grove. It's bittersweet with half of our founders gone so soon after founding it. But I think they have work to do.
Mm-hmm. They make us think we have work to do.
But we wanted to share with you a little bit about our grove and our what our path, what we chose, or what was chosen for us as our path and our dedication as a grove.
Especially since there's so few Druids around in Southern California with our DCD. So we're going to read our prayer and our mission statement.
Briad of the flames, Ellen of the ways, green man of all, carry us.
Briad of the waters, Ellen of the moon path, green man of the earth, guide us.
Briad of the forge, Ellen of the flowers, green man guardian, teach us.
Briad of the poets, Ellen of wild deer, green man of the forest, help us to grow. So our mission statement, it took us quite a while. Lots of emails and Skype meetings. Because by then Mary and I were up in Oregon. And so our mission statement is guided by Ellen Bried and the Green Man. The members of Hazelwood Grove of the Druid clan of Dana are called to honor the earth in all her many guises, to walk her paths lightly wherever they may lead, and to hail the light in all. Just as there is no one way to honor the gods and goddess and wild spirits of place, there is no one path for us. We gather in a circle of cooperative leadership, friendship, music, art, ritual, meditation, and healing. We follow the spiraling in and out of life's path, and we heed the call to the wilds, the mystery, and we echo that call to all like-minded beings.
And I want to say thank you to Linda, because Linda and DeTracy were the people that consecrated us our truths.
Just before Laura's memorial service.
So thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm joyful to be here today, and I am a friend of the Iseum of the Nubian moon. Anitra is my friend and promoter. You're so sweet. Thank you. So anyway, this is a book that I've written. It was published about 5 years ago, Sexy, Spirited, and Strong, Becoming a Positive Energy Woman. And I love the divine feminine. And so I'm so happy and joyful and honored to be here today to help celebrate the 40 years of the ISIS groups, and then also to share just a little bit of what I have written. And though it was written for women, it also speaks to the feminine aspects of men. So hopefully you can all enjoy and the little passage that I'm about to read. Thank you, Anita. You're so sweet. And I forgot to bring my reading glasses, so hopefully, are they, what level? That'll work. Thank you. Okay. As if awakened from a millennia-long slumber by a cosmic alarm clock, women are rising to the universe's urgent call for renewed feminine energies and values. Consciously or instinctively, women are beginning to recognize their feminine energy as a source of positive influence for humanity and are cultivating their strengths to assist in our evolution. Many women feel the call to step out of the traditional roles formed by the masculine ideal centuries ago and engage their innate powers as wise and productive women who contribute to society and the advancement of humankind. As women's support and activist groups emerge around the world, feminine energy is permeating the collective consciousness. In more and more areas around the planet, the status of women is rising and their contributions to society respected and accepted. This recent rise of feminine energy is but a tiny nudge in the shift of a paradigm, but it's a monumental hint of what is possible. Our goal is not a feminine takeover. It's not for women to rule the world. It is to be accepted as equal partners with men in the name of progress. This rise of feminine energy isn't just a frivolous feminine experiment for women to get their way, but an urgent push from the depths of the universal soul, the force that has inspired every step of human evolution, to unify the feminine and masculine energies for the survival of the species and the planet. Women hold tremendous responsibility for the evolution of humankind. But before women can raise their collective energy enough to truly make a mark in the world and influence this paradigm shift, each woman individually, needs to cultivate her own feminine energy. This requires a conscious revival of one critical element, self-esteem. Self-esteem is a belief in oneself and self-respect. It's a recognition, acceptance, and love of every aspect of ourselves and our potential as human beings. High self-esteem is the foundation of our confidence, the fuel that motivates us to create a joyful and fulfilling life. I believe women can regain self-esteem by vitalizing 3 energetic areas that are essential to a woman's being, which through the centuries have been challenged by cultural traditions. They are sexuality, spirituality, and inner strength. This combination of refined energies will help create confidence and create the innate capabilities and increase the innate capabilities that women were discouraged from exhibiting. I call this new breed of femininity the positive energy woman. As an advanced being, the positive energy woman has the abilities to create an outstanding personal life and also enforce beneficial change to the planet. A positive energy woman is easy to identify. She is a positively radiant, loving, and joyful being. Filled with self-love and appreciation for her feminine body and soul, she fully accepts those around her and exudes love towards them. She cultivates her gifts and pursues her dreams and strives to rise to her highest potential as a human being. She harnesses a positive universal power and uses it as a source of inspiration, guidance, and love. With an expanded consciousness, she sees the big picture of life and enjoys all of life's twists and turns. With high caliber and bright energy, the positive energy woman becomes a beacon of goodness that shines on those around her and out into the universe. Just by raising your own energy, just by raising her own energy, one positive energy woman contributes to the raising of the vibration of the entire planet. Thank you.
Hi, I wanted to thank Anitra for asking me to come along today. I'll be doing a short invocation of Anubis. I've basically cobbled together a few spells taken from the Demotic Magical Papyri. There is a series of magical writings that go back to between 1500 and 2000 years. They were produced in Egypt. They're the last flowering of authentic magic in ancient Egypt. What I'm going to ask you to do is to close your eyes. Visualize yourselves holding a box of myrrh and try to visualize light coming in through your closed eyes, and Anubis will be coming in within the light. I am great. Great is my name. Great is my real name. I am Oyu. Oyu is my name. Ayu is my real name. I am Lot, Mulot, the one who prevailed, he whose strength is in the flame, he of that golden wreath which is on his head. Theit, Theit, To, To, Hatra, Hatra, Dogface, Dogface. Hail Anubis, Pharaoh of the underworld. Let the darkness depart. Bring the light to me, for I am Horus, son of Osiris, whom Isis bore, the noble youth whom Isis loves, who seeks after his father, Osiris-Un-Nefer. Hail Anubis, Pharaoh of the underworld, let the darkness depart. Bring the light to me here today. Let me flourish. And tell me an answer and truth concerning my question about which I am inquiring here today, truly, without falsehood, immediately. Hail Anubis, creature and youth. Hail, O light, come forth, O light. Rise up, O light. Be great, O light. O that which is outside, come in. O good ox herd, my compeller, in order to ask you about it here today, you should make me open my eyes, and you should protect me. Lord of earth, the survivor of the earth, Lord of earth, I am Hor Amoun, who stands before you here today. Mari Kari. O Anubis, the good ox herd, bring the light into me, in order that you may give me protection here today. For I am Horus, the son of Isis, the good son of Osiris. For I am Turamnei, Amnei, Mes, Ornorf, Pahorof, Io, little king, mountain of Horus. May I be saved, and may you send Sobek to me until he comes forth. Come to me, O High One, O Mighty One, O Master of secrets for those in the underworld, O Pharaoh of those in Amenti, O Chief Physician, O good son of Osiris, he whose face is strong among the gods. You should appear in the underworld before the hand of Osiris. You should serve the souls of Abydos, in order that they live through you. These souls, the ones of the sacred underworld, come to the earth. Reveal yourself here to me today. Open to me, O you of the underworld, O box of myrrh that is in my hand. Receive me before you, O souls, excellent ones belonging to Bewechem, O box of myrrh which has 4 corners, O dog who is called Anubis by name, who rests on the box of myrrh, whose feet are set on the box of myrrh. Send to me the ointment, that I may know an answer to everything about which I am asking here today, truly there being no falsehood therein. Io, Tabo, Sigamame, Akaka Nbe, Sanuani, Etsie, Gomto, Gethos, Basa, Ethori, Thmila, Akke. Make for me an answer to everything about which I am asking here today. Hail, mighty one, Anubis, the youthful creation. I see your beautiful face, you, O great Anubis. Hail Anubis in the nome of the dog faces, he to whom this earth belongs, who leaps on only 1 foot. Artamo, open to me flame. If you do not open to me flame, I will make you open to me flame. O Ibis, sprinkle, that I may see the great god Anubis, the powerful one who is before me, the great strength of the sound eye. O powerful Anubis, the good ox herd, open everything to me. Reveal yourself to me, for I am Nesthom, Nesjot, Neshopt, Borilam Mai, Mastinks. Anubis, great one, Arian, the one who is great, Arian, the bringer of safety, Arian, the one who is outside. Hail, Frix, Ix, Lord, Ibrox, Ambrox, Eborx, Xon, Brokria, the great child, Anubis, for I am the soldier. Of those of the Atef crown, those of Pefnum, Masfoneger. Hail, let all that I have said come to pass here today, for hail, you are Thum, Thum, Thamathom, Thamathutsi, Amun is your correct name, who is Thom. Called Thom, Ankthom, you are Eth, Thoth is your name. Son of Thom, Anithom, Op, Sao, Shatensro, black. Open to me, may the hounds of the Fulot give me that which is just in the primeval waters. Tell me that which about I am asking here today, in truth, truly, there being no falsehood therein. A-E-O-U-O, spirit of strife, the god has already come in, your bull, Mao, O Anubis, this soldier, this bull, this blackness, this, Itzi, Sritsi, Abritsi is your name, being your correct name. Farewell, farewell, Anubis, the good ox herd, Anubis, the son of a wolf and a dog, the child of her of Isis and a dog, Nabrishoft, the cherub of Amenti, king of those of the underworld. Thank you.
Iseum of Isis Paducis members, would you please come to the podium?
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here today. Penny, Zenobia, up here now. We are all one in our group. We don't stand on ceremony. We stand on sisterhood and fellowship. And I won't make Richard stand up unless he really wants to, because he's really, really shy. But I want us to stand as one, because I don't want this to be about any specific person. I want this to be about a feeling of sisterhood and brotherhood with all of you. We are the Iseum of Isis Paedusis, which literally means the Iseum of Isis, the Lady Professor. And we took this name, it's a Greek name. We took this as our name because so many of us are either academics or people with way too many college degrees. And we see Isis as our professor. So we look to her for wisdom. We came together in 1999 when some of us felt the call to Isis, and we got together with Laura Jane's daughter. We studied with her for a year and a day, after which we were chartered by her into the Fellowship of Isis as a new Iseum. And since then, we've also added Lyceum to our name because we are a teaching order as well. After that, the year after that, we were the founders of the Iseum. Words are flying out of my head now. I'm at that age, you know. Ordained, that's the word I was looking for. It's on here, it's on the sheet, Denise, read it. We were legally ordained by Reverend Karen Tate of the Isis Ancient Cultures and Religion Society, along with the help of Marcia Smith and Ed Fitch. And then I left my books over there. I need my books. Somebody bring me my books. Richard, bring me my books. Quickly. Fast. Hurry. As part of the Goddess 2000 observation, two of our founders, myself, you might know me as Reverend D or Dion-Isis, and yes, I pronounced the hyphen, or just regular old Denise. Lori Nix, one of our other founders who could not be here today, but is here in spirit. And if you see any scorpions around the floor, that's just her. We edited a collection of poetry and art called Isis Rising, the Goddess in the New Eon, and this was part of the Goddess 2000 project. And the person who actually is depicted dancing on the cover is actually in the audience tonight. Yes. Our lovely Marguerite, yes. So we have worked with many, many other groups over the years. It's hard to believe that we are now, we should be having our quinceañera. We are now between 15 and 16 right now, so we can either have our quinceañera or we can have our sweet 16 party, either one. Hard to believe it's been that long. Time flies when you're having fun. On the table over there is a picture of one of the times that the founders and I got to get together with Lady Olivia Robertson, and believe me, that was a joy and a treat, and she was just an amazing woman and an inspiration to me in many, many ways. We got to hear her oracular prophecies and her meditations, and she was just the most wonderful person. When she signed her book for me, she drew this wonderful picture of Isis on the inside front cover, and so I'm so happy that we got to be with her. I got to see her in person twice. Some of you may have seen her more than that, depending on how many of the events you were able to attend. So tonight we're going to present to you a couple of poems, one from the Isis Rising book that is by D. Tracy Regula, one of the writers and the people that most inspires us, I think, is D. Tracy. I'm going to read her poem, Isis of the Stars, as we go forward into the future. Then we will have one of our other founders, Stefania, reading
her own poem about Sekhmet. Then we're going to segue into a little audience participation. Yes, little audience participation with Reverend Connie, who will be helping to lead us in a prayer that I wrote for today and has a little audience participation in it. And then we will be led in some song by one of our newer members, Zenobia. So without further ado, I'd like to read you Isis of the Stars by DeTracy Regula. And yes, by the way, I did go to London to see Carolyn Wise to tell her, you got to carry this in your bookstore, the Aquarius Bookshop, and she did. Isis of the Stars by DeTracy Regula. Into the stars I will take your name, O goddess of the desire of my nature. On my soul it will be emblazoned in letters of light and life. I will seek your resting places among the stars, and I will make lights to you that will not grow dim nor flicker out. To you I will make altar lights of lasers and dance holy circles in space in my chariot of steel and plastic. Step on my back and let me be the boat of 1,000,000 years to carry the gods through the ever night of space to the places of days. I will make for you a temple measured with galaxies for cubits and call each altar star by one of your myriad names. Now may I introduce Stefania Ebony.
Okay, this poem is called Daughter of Sekhmet. And it was published in, it's called Daughter of Sekhmet, and it was published in a collection called Sekhmet When the Lion Roars, a devotional to the Egyptian goddess that was edited by Galina Kraskova, who's a very well-known heathen and pagan. Robe of scarlet silk, skin scented with cinnabar, necklace of red jasper and sardonyx, dark auburn mane plaited with fine filaments of crimson and gold. No one doubts to whom you belong. The temple dancers ask you if the Nile is red with blood or beer. You read the thirst in their eyes and interpret the position of the sun overhead with respect to the point of the largest pyramid. The span is short from season to season, ritual to pageant to festival to celebration. The Nile floods, then subsides. The cruel sun reveals thin parchment skin, stretched taut across your cheekbones. Have the dead been tended yet today? Wrapped in sacred linen, permeated with macerated herbs? Is the gilded paint dry yet on your sarcophagus? A grand occasion, the temple sages say. The closing of one eye of Ra means the opening of another. Who will remember you but the one you serve? After your stilled heart is weighed and measured against a feather, your spirit will rise to reign with your mother, your name lost in history.
And now Reverend Connie will lead us in a prayer, and she will prompt you as to when you are to repeat the verses. So, Reverend Connie.
Good evening, all my fellow priests and priestesses of the Fellowship of Isis. I'm not a founder of the temple. I'm not a founder of our Iseum. However, I have been around probably since the beginning, and I was formerly ordained by Reverend Denise and by Reverend Karen Tate in 2010. And as she said, I'm about to lead us in a prayer that was written by Reverend Denise. For she who is among us, Lady of 10,000 names, goddess of the Adepti of the Lyceum of Isis produces, who are here now before you, Lady Isis, you who are our professor, our mentor, our guide, you of the golden hand of goodness. We stand proudly in your darkness and in your light, for yesterday, today, and tomorrow. All repeat after me. For all joys and all memories,
for all joys and all memories,
for all wisdom and all grace,
for all wisdom and all grace,
we honor you, Lady Isis.
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 I hope everybody was repeating after all of us. Okay, guys. We tend to be, we're the Iseum. We're the people with the corn dog and the donut at Beltane, okay? We tend to be, we tend to be the irreverent reverence. We're from the South Bay. We don't know what we're doing. We're, so we want to have a little sing-along, and, I'm going to let Zenobia deal with that. Hey, your idea, not mine. It was somebody's idea. Patricia, you're a singer. You get up there.
What song? She was supposed to.
Oh, come help!
Hey, Claudia,
come help!
did you?
Yes, we're all
This
in
is
this
Reverend
together, guys.
Reverend Claudia
none of us
Emersville.
is separate today. We're all part of the body of Isis today, right?
I'm not a member of the fellowship.
You don't need to be.
But I am very honored that Connie asked me to sing this song. It's going to be audio presentation. I'm only going to do the first verse, but you can all pick up pretty easily.
Okay, so let's get the singers up front to help. You two are singers. We have two singers, so I want the singers to help.
Lady of the sky, mother of the stars, daughter of the air.
I don't know this one. I don't know it.
That's easy. Lady of the skies, mother of the stars, daughter of the air and queen of heaven. Lady of the skies, mother of the stars, daughter of the air and queen of heaven. Lady of the sky, mother of the stars, daughter of the air and queen of heaven. Lady of the sky, mother of the stars, daughter of the air and queen of heaven. Lady of the stars, mother of the stars, daughter of the air and queen of heaven. Lady of the sky, mother of the stars, daughter of the air and queen of heaven. Lady of the sky, mother of the stars, daughter of the air and queen of heaven. Lady of the sky, mother of the stars, daughter of the air and queen of heaven.
And before I leave the stage, thank you so much. Before I leave the stage, I just want to kind of introduce you to the other wonderful people up here. This is Penny Honored Crone. She was the first person we did a croning ceremony for. This is Barbara. She was the second person we did a croning ceremony for. And of course, Reverend Connie, that I had the very, very great honor of ordaining. And I feel like Connie really is one of our founders, because she really was there from, if not the first day, the second day. And this is Patricia. I've been working on Patricia to kind of get a little music into things. She's in the choir here at this church, by the way. And of course, this is Zenobia, one of our newer members, and she too is an amazing person and has many, many talents. we're going to work on those and bring those in. And our other founder who is here today, Stefania. Thank you so much, Stefania. You're my inspiration, as well as so many other things we've written together. We've been through a whole lot of stuff together. So for the Fellowship of Isis, it is our honor to be here today with you. And we are a part of you, you are a part of us, and we are all part of the body of the God and Goddess. Thank you very much.
And you're my mentor, but you got me to submit this.
Thank you. All of us are, a lot of people, but together in this room at this time we are eclectically one. Everybody has a special God and Goddess they pay tribute to. My guy is represented. He's the secret stealth warrior. He is the brother of Anubis, right, Tony? And he takes you on journeys. He rides on a boat of rock. He guards you. Anubis and Lepiwet are very closely knit, that Lepiwet is secret. And I thank him with all my heart for his guidance. Woo!
I'm Jim Cameron, and first of all, I'd also like to thank those of you who I know and those of you who don't know me. This is the place that I was validated, and you don't know what it means? Never mind. One of the most profound times of my life was when I was asked to tell this story in the Goddess Temple, and it was the hottest night in July that I can remember, and realized that I was dedicated to who I was, because how could one stand there in that kind of heat, wearing a good iron bra? You didn't have to. I've been thinking about this story, and there's not a person in this room who doesn't know. But part of my job as a storyteller is to look at stories from inside out and find meaning of things I didn't know before. So a little bit of panic. I'll never take this sort of different point of view. That morning, the queen had been eating a fig, and she bit right into her cheek, and it still hurt. And it didn't help when she was eating grape leaves later on, and the lemon juice happened to find exactly where it was. That's the nice thing about lemon juice, it tells you exactly where it was. And she sat there, her tongue probing the wound. She was spinning over the staff, spinning and measuring, and the other women were doing the same. But as she was doing this, she smelled the most amazing smell. She never smelled anything so beautiful. Who is it? She was right there. So
outstanding. But she had never noticed how beautiful she was, how radiant she was. One of her husband's philosophers would have looked at her and said, well, of course, every single aspect of her face conforms to the 1.6 ratio. Well, look at that eye. That eye is, if you would multiply it by 1.6, you will have the nose. She is perfection. Where have you been? And the girl told her how she had simply gone down to the marketplace that morning. And there was a woman on a boat, just simply sitting there. Older woman. Well, maybe older. I don't know. Maybe she was very young. I don't know. But she was the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. And I couldn't help myself. I simply walked up to her and I spoke to her and she reached out and she took my hand. And I've never felt more comfortable. I've never felt more happy. Yeah. She's not the same woman. Isn't it lovely? Came from her. Well, the queen was not going to have any of this. She did not need a sorceress in her kingdom. And so down she went to the marketplace. She was going to give this woman what for, straight to her. There she was, right there by the well, and that canvas sword just disappeared. And she never felt more white with the sun. And the woman raised her eyes to her. And she knew. It was the woman that she knew. You come with me to the palace. And a humble child. And you are her nurse. Isn't it? Yes, said the woman. Yes. And so she came to the palace. And she and the prince were inseparable. Every day, every night, they were together. And there was such a sense of peace and well-being that had never been in the palace of our friends. And this Arctic had never been. Until one night, she woke. And there was something that's not wrong, is it? No, it's not. What is it? What is it? She had there then. And she threw her shoe up. And she went to the house. She went to the nursery. And it ran through her entire being. As she ran through all of the corridors of the palace until finally she came to the great hall. And there, beside the new pillar that had been put in that hall, there in the fire pit was her child. And the child was it was in the center of the fire. It looked as if the fire was consuming it. But there was no cry. There was a look of joy on the child's face. But where was that nursemaid? And then she saw, well, nothing now as she reached and pulled the child out of the fire, and saw the swallow flying around the pillar, circle after circle after circle. Where has Has she gone? And when she opened her eyes, the nursemaid stood before her. She looked at her child. There was no harm. The child was happy, healthy, able to paradise. And when the child's eyes fell upon the nursemaid, the child knew. She looked, the queen looked in the nursemaid's eyes. And she knew. She knew. She felt it. Every part of her body. All of her body was right, was healthy. Every tiny thing. Every little bit of this body was gone. She looked into the nursemaid's eyes. She felt every bit of joy she had ever felt or ever imagined she could feel in her existence. When she looked into the nursemaid's eyes, she saw the beginning, and before the beginning, as she saw the birth of the children of men, the birth of the child of God, the birth of the children of God, the birth of the children of man. She saw the hatred between the brothers. She saw the deceit. She saw the box. She saw the timeless truth. She knew what the player was. And she saw beyond. She looked at the nursemaid and she saw the wings where her eyes were. She saw and felt the wind of her life. She felt the love between the husband and the wife and the beginning of the child. And she felt the grief of the dismemberment, the search, the sister that she loved so dearly, the jackal-headed boy that she should be jealous of, but she was not. She saw the fruit of death. She saw eternal life. And she saw the mercy. We went from out that country and in the hearts of humans there and many, many nations. She saw the best of what humanity could be in the eyes of mercy. And she went, yes, yes, take the blood, take it, yes, hopeless.
My name is Chris Fawcett, and I am part of the Iseum of Isis Pelagia that Laura started. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about the Iseum and what it has meant to me, tell you just a personal anecdote, an experience with it. As you know, Laura started it in 1994. And I had actually had sort of a near miss with Lady Olivia myself several years ago. In 1988, I went on a tour to England and Ireland. And when we got to Ireland the second week, one day we were going up to the Hill of Tara, and I slipped, and I twisted my ankle. And so the next day, I just did not feel like walking. So I stayed at the hotel, but everybody else went off to this castle, and they had heard that this woman was living in this castle, and she had a temple of Isis going on. Her name was Lady Olivia in Castle Clonigal. So that was my near miss. They all came back and told me about this wonderful woman and this fantastic place that she lived. But I didn't personally meet her at that point. I was busy recovering. So in 1994, when Laura was getting the Iseum together, she came to me and she said, well, I would think you would like being a part of this. She explained about Lady Olivia, and when she started talking about a castle in Ireland dedicated to Isis, I went, oh, I know that. Yeah, okay. And I said, okay, I would be glad to. So I sort of feel like I was foreordained to, not to make a pun, but foreordained to make to be a part of the FOI. So I was personally ordained in 2001 after the Iseum had been going for a while. It's funny, a lot of people have talked about visions and of seeing of hard times, and yes, when I was ordained, they put the veil over you, and it was January of 2001, and I remember Isis showed me all of us walking on a road, and it was a long road, and it was hard, but we were walking together yet. We had strength, even though it was a hard time. And of course, we know what happened later that year. In September of 2001, the world changed. But anyway, the Iseum got started in February of 1994. And in July, we decided to have our first beach ritual. And this became something that we did over and over again, twice a year. Once in July for Isis's birthday, or somewhere around the 17th, and the other time at Imbolc, around the beginning of February. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that very first beach ritual. And we got together. She had invited us all to get together and prepare for it. So probably 10 to 15 women were over at Laura's house in Westgate. And we made boats. And there were these plants. I don't know what kind of plants they are, but they had huge leaves, kind of almost like palm leaves. And we took leaves from these boats and we were gluing them together with hot glue, and spent the whole evening putting these things together and getting ready. And oh, it was fun. I don't remember if we had popcorn, but we should have. It was a great evening. And we finally finished up after midnight. And a lot of us, some people went home, but there were 7 or 8 of us that just stayed at Laura's house because we were going to get up at the crack of dawn for this beach ritual. So we all went to sleep. We filled up the couch and the bed and all kinds of flat surfaces. A lot of us, including myself, just slept on the floor. We had brought blankets and pillows, and that was fine. So we all went to sleep, and about 2:30 or 3 a.m., I woke up, and I was on the floor, and I opened my eyes, and there were 100 candles burning in the rooms, and there were all these sleeping women and the only sound was everybody's breathing. And I sat there and just felt it, and the words came to me. This is what it was like when we all lived in the temple. I knew this is what it was like when we had all lived in the temple. So we got up the next morning and had our ritual, and I don't remember a lot specifically about that first one, but it was a heck of a lot of fun. That ritual and a lot of rituals after that, we all were, well, everybody was brightly colored. I mean, we all dressed in our finery, and I've seen pictures of us on the beach, and it was just colorful. And it was no wonder that more often than not, the dolphins would show up offshore. We were up in Dockweiler Beach, and almost always the dolphins would come and say hello to us. But no wonder, they saw all these colorful women on the shore and wondered what was going on. So that was really special. So that's basically what I wanted to share. And for me, what Laura gave to me in making me part of the fellowship and a larger organization was maybe the first time I had really felt like a priestess, even before I was ordained. Of course, I'd been a witch since early 70s, but more than, just a witch. What is that? I was also a priestess. And I really think she gave that to a lot of us, gave us a sense of being part of something was larger than ourselves. And really has been very satisfying and gratifying to me. So Laura, thank you. Olivia, thank you. That dear sweet lady, when I did finally meet her, immediately I felt like I wanted to put my arm around her and protect her, But she was just wonderful. And anyway, the fellowship has been wonderful. And thank you all for being part of it. And blessed be.
Well, hello there. My name is Anitra Ravenmoon, and I am so blessed to have you sisters and brothers here, friends, family. A little bit about myself. I started, I joined the fellowship in 1998, and I started going to ISIS studies with Laura Jane's daughter, me, and Inanna in 2002. Wasn't it, Inanna? 2002 and 3. Yes. I used to dance here at the solstice fairs, and I started going to my first solstice fair was 1996. And I felt, it felt like a home to me because I had just started on the priestess path, on the pagan path. And I was living in Compton, and there was really nothing, I didn't have anything that I could go to, anybody I could fellowship with, of like minds. And I don't know, I got this card this time, and it said Solstice Fair. I said, oh, that's in Long Beach. And so 1996, I got to my first, when it was cold. That was one that I went, that was raining, and it was cold. Whew. But I said, oh, so they do have something, because I was just a witch wandering out there alone, blowing in the wind, So I started going to the fairs every year after that. And I saw this card, Laura Jane's daughter. I didn't know who she was. I went to the fair for about 2 years before I knew who Laura was. And so I used to always look for her. I said, who is Laura Jane's daughter? That's the lady with the flaming red hair. Oh, I see her. That's Laura. So I used to go up to talk to Laura. I asked her, could I dance? And she let me dance at the fairs. And then I don't know how I found out that she had ISIS studies at her home, but I found out some kind of way. I guess it was through a paper or something. Anyway, I started studying with, I think it was every other Sunday, Inanna? Yeah, every other Sunday. And I started just going with, calling her, and I guess she probably said, oh, she gets on my nerves. But I would call her and ask her things about the book, because we were studying out of Isis magic, weren't we? Yeah. We were studying out of Isis magic, and I would call and ask questions, and I finally learned a little bit how to tie that knot, you know. So I learned it out of the books. But to make a long story short, I started going to the fairs, and I started calling Laura and asking her about the book and doing studies on the phone. And I finally got ordained in 2004. And when I met Olivia, and as she came, she was out here in 2004, and it was in October. And I never forget this. We had the ordination in my backyard, and I have 2 sphinx in my yard. And Olivia ran, and I was so scared. I said, oh my God, she's going to fall. You know, she jumped out of the car. Oh, Sphinx! And she jumped on one of the Sphinx. I think I have a picture. There's a picture of her. She sat on it, and I thought she was going to fall because she ran. And she sat on the Sphinx. And she just ran from one to the other, because I have 2 on each side of the walkway. And she ran from one to the other. I said, oh my gosh, I hope she doesn't fall. You know, I was so scared, you know. But she has called me, and she lovingly named me Anitra of the Sphinx after that. I got ordained by she and Laura in 2004. And I had started it was a group called Goddess Teas and Inspirations. I started that around 2005. And I was having, Goddess Teas, Inspirations. I'd have different authors over, different workshops in my home. And in 2008, Laura chartered my home as my Iseum of the Nubian moon. And the reason why, I don't know why I picked the Nubian moon, but then when I went to Egypt in 2009, it must have been in my inner sanctum, in the inner psyche, because I spent 2 weeks in Egypt in 2009. We spent 3 days in Aswan and in the Isis temple Philae. And at night, it was so beautiful. It was hot, but it was so beautiful. The moon would shine over the temple, and the columns would look like they would come alive. So in back of your program, the very back, that was one of the pictures I took of the Tet Knot. And I sent that picture, I took it and sent it right to Laura. I texted to her. And I remember she said, oh, Anita sent the knot. And so that was a picture that I took while I was in the temple of Isis Philae. And I started studying, and I think I went to the temple, went inside the Sphinx, and they were some little people, because I tried to climb up, because inside the Khufu is the biggest one, and you start climbing up, but the little steps was about like this. I said, oh, and I was too scared, so I got up to the top, but up the top is a little room inside that Sphinx. You would never know that. But I said, but it was so small, I couldn't, I had to kind of, do this, because I couldn't turn around in it. But that was, I think that was why, and at night, those Sphinx and the moon shining over them was just magnificent. So I think that's why I named my Iseum of the Nubian moon. Just before Laura's departure to Summerland, I used to go over to her house and bring her, she loved chicken, but she loved fried chicken. So I would bring her fried chicken and egg flour soup, and we would sit up and talk, and then she would say, how come you're not making your house a temple? You always have events over there. I said, I never thought about it. You know, I never thought about it because it was, what was it? Goddess Teas and Inspiration, so I didn't think anymore. She said, no. I said, I don't know. She said, well, you're doing the work already. She says, make it a temple in Long Beach. And because we don't have one in Long Beach. So that's how Linda chartered my temple, the Temple of Isis, Long Beach. So that's what I have, and in the Circle of the Sacred Cauldron, and that's I celebrate the full and dark moon twice a month, once a month, and all of these things, because she said you need to do more. She told me I need to do more. I said okay, and I did. So that's why I have my temple in the Circle of the Sacred Cauldron. I got a book that I've been writing for 3 years, so eventually, I'll finish it. But she pushed me. She pushed me to do more, and she and I would drink red coffee together. I miss that red coffee and the cigarettes, the nice sacred cigarettes, I would call them. So, and then, you know, that's in behalf of Laura Jane's daughter, Lady Olivia, from Anitra, I used to call myself, they gave me this name at work. I'm retired now, but they gave me this name at work, Hoodlum Priestess, and I was a wild child. But, so, and you know, so many things I have to thank Laura for, because she opened my eyes to a lot of things and made me work. Told me get out there and do stuff. So, and that's what I am doing now because of her guidance, her tutelage, and her pushing me. And I'd like to thank all of you all for being who you are, because like you say, we are all a family. And we must do this not just once a year, but often, you know, because we have so much to offer the world, you know, and this is the United States Western chapter of all the Iseums, Lyceums put together. It's a big kaleidoscope. And I just want to thank you, and I want to play a little song for you in a minute, and then we can eat. Okay, so let me get my drum.
Repeat after me. Gifts we bring, gifts we bring, gifts we bring to thee, gifts we bring to thee. We honor you with food and love. We are your earth family. We honor you with food and love. We are your earth family.
Hello, my name is Diana Parks Ahmed, and before we sing the Knot of Isis song, I'd like to talk just a minute about it. The lyrics to the Knot of Isis are found actually in the back of your program, over the picture that Anita just spoke about. I have been attending several of the Temple of Isis Los Angeles events, Long Beach Women's Spirit, attended classes through Temple of Isis Los Angeles, sang a lot. I love singing. It's sacred to me. It's very healing, and it connects us. Laura, Jane's daughter, ordained me February of 2000, and shortly after that we were doing the Goddess 2000 project, and we had our couple events here at the Seropetus House at Cal State University, Long Beach. And for any of you who know who Laura, Jane's daughter, is, knows how much she loved the prayer of the Knot of Isis. At every one of the rituals that Twala, the loving name that we came up with, Temple of Isis Los Angeles, Twala, we always ended with the reading of her poetic version of the Knot of Isis that Normandy Ellis had retranslated. Laura, in her wit and humor, decided, I kid you not, it must have only been like 2 minutes after she ordained me. Really, I was walking to my car with my things, and she came up to me, she says, Diana, you know the Knot of Isis that we read at the end of our rituals? Can you turn it into a song? I had 2 minutes. I was just ordained 2 minutes. And I'm walking. Sure, I'll ask Jenny to help me. Jenny Rodriguez, who is one of the other creators of the song. And Jenny and I finally came up with a tune, and we had looked back at Laura's poetic verse. We had looked back at Normandy Ellis's translation, and there was one little part that Jenny and I were struggling on, and I happened to be over at Denise and Jenny's apartment, and Denise just casually walked over, looked at it and said, well, what about da-da-da-da-da? And Jenny and I looked at each other and thought, that was so simple. So that was the birth of the Knot of Isis. It was something that was dearly loved by Laura. And since the inception of the song, the song has now been sung at many of the events at the end for closing instead of reading Laura's, which I think is a very beautiful version of Normandy's translation. And again, we're closing with the Knot of Isis. Those of you who know the song, please do sing with us. This is for all of us.
At the end of the universe, a blood-red cord binds life to death and wood to destiny. Let the knot of the red sash bind us all together, cradling our hips and weaving all our dreams. We are the knot where the two worlds meet, where magic courses through our veins. Magic of magic, spirit of spirit, we are the power of Isis. We are bound, mind to mind. We are bound, heart to heart. Heaven in one hand, earth in the other. We will walk in harmony. We are the knot where the two worlds meet, where magic courses through our veins. Magic of magic, spirit of spirit, we are the power of Isis. Give us our consolation, give us magic, give us the spell of living well, give us magic. We are the knot where the two worlds meet, where magic courses through our veins. Magic of magic, spirit of spirit, we are the power of Isis. We are the power of Isis. We are the power of Isis. Isis.
Powers of the north, powers of earth, we thank you for being here with us today. Thank you for singing the earth, singing through the ground and in our veins and in our bodies. Like Isis we sing. Thank you for being here and for blessing us and for being with our meeting today. Powers of the north, powers of east, go if you must, stay if you will. Blessed be. Blessed be.
Ocean dwellers, sea gods and goddesses, thank you for being with us. Go in peace and love and harmony. Thank you, and until we meet again, blessed be.
Blessed powers, principalities, goddesses of the Southern Order, thank you for attending our rite tonight. Please continue on your way, harming none as you go away from here. Stay if you will, leave if you must. In perfect love and perfect trust. Blessed be.
Powers of the East, we thank you for your presence here. We thank you for the breath that you have given to each shared our stories, as we've sang together, as we breathe, as we've lived this time together. Sweet Isis, we ask you, wrap your wings gently around us each. Keep us close to you as we stay close to you. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your precious gift of life. Help us to use it wisely in service to you. Blessed be.